everyone, welcome back. It's Dim and Kedge here, and I we have just received well, not really, but just received some very, very wonderful news. Kedge, I believe your company has a new employee.
Oh, dude, no. He's being a bit tongue in cheek there. So, no, I just had my wife just gave birth to our daughter earlier this week. And yeah, and the reason he says that, our company kind of did an announcement welcoming her to the team because, for us, our families, everything is all part of the team. So, yeah, feeling hyper blessed. I was just telling Dim just before we jumped on, I'm running on average 3 hours a night for the last week, but probably more pumped for this call than I've ever been. Just running on those juices. Yeah, no, lots of love and just yeah, man. Even yeah, and yeah, everyone says how hard it is and this and that, which I'm sure it is, and I don't want to be naive to what's going to come. But man, I've been running on 3 hours, feeling the love, man. I've been jumping on, doing calls and other things in and amongst it with her in my hand, and all these other things. So it's just giving me the juice to go even harder, to be honest. So, um, yeah, man, it's been a good week. It's been a good week.
Oh, obviously, I missed you when we heard the news, but
Yeah,
congratulations, man. Love
nah,
you guys.
thanks.
The first time seeing you, you know. Um,
I was saying if anyone's thinking about it, like I do highly recommend. I do highly recommend. No, it's yeah, even for me, like as in it's hard to obviously hard to put into words and say, like it's a kind of love. Yeah, I don't know how to express it, I guess it's like it's a felt experience and yeah, it's like not even comparing for me. I felt obviously my like for those that don't know, like my dad passed a couple of years back now to just two and a bit. And I think for me, it was like a certain type of love that I'm never going to get again. And once again, like hard to put into words, like once again, what that means. But it's like, but yeah, this is one, like, as in, not that it feels that void by any means, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. But yeah, it's just a different kind of love and it's a different experience. And it's like, it's just nice. Yeah. Yeah. So,
oh man.
so
It only was on Wednesday? Is that correct?
20, Monday, 23rd,
Monday.
23rd. Yeah.
Oh man. Man, what is it like? What is it like? You said it's like well, I can't even I genuinely don't have context to understand what it would be like.
Yeah, as in I'll try and put it into words. Like I don't think words that would do. Yeah, it's hard, right? I think, but I don't know. Just look, as in it's a weird thing. I was saying to one of my other friends. I looked in, like she eventually opened her eyes, like maybe 3 days in, eyes opened, and and I'm a bit of a wacky dude, but like I just said, I looked into her eyes and I felt like I can see like the past, present, and the future, like through her eyes, like and just felt like I could see eternity, like looking in there, and but also just I don't know. There's just like this little being that I'm not going to let anything happen to her kind of thing. And just, it's just, like nothing, it's almost like in that moment and looking at it, like nothing else matters. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that you have the life that you deserve. And, that kind of feeling. And I'm sure like everyone kind of says it. So it feels a bit weird to say, and I don't want to sound cliche,
I
but it's
don't care.
just,
It doesn't matter about any of that shit. I just want to hear the truth. Doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah, no, that's kind of it, man. It's just like it's just wild. It's like an instant thing. It's like I'm not letting anything happen to you, like you just look at them and it's like this, you're my everything. So
Wow.
yeah, and just yeah, um, and more, I think, as in it's more as just like as in not fully right now, but I just some of the stuff I've been reading and looking into is like it's just going to be the best mirror for myself. It's going to test me. It's going to all those things that we've worked on in the past, my triggers, my this, and like all these things with this person, it's going to put them to the test, and it's only going to make me. It's going to make it's put it going to be put me as a test as a human, and all of that. So I'm just excited for it all.
Oh man, that's it is profoundly special, man.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't know, man. Just simplicity, just it just feels fucking. Just feel the love, like as in I'm putting a lot of words on top of it, but it's just that sometimes just the one word, bro. It's just loving energy, bro. It's just
I
like nothing
feel
else. Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it coming off you, man. I feel like this is the most energized you've been on any of our calls. Honestly.
Yeah.
So
No, it is. It is. And yeah, technically, probably on paper should be the most tired.
yeah.
But yeah, man. Um, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
Wow.
And just like, yeah, and on top of that, just watching, yeah, just seeing Gaia step into her. her and see how she's doing and how she's embracing it and just all of it. It's just really nice to see her shine. And yeah, I think all of that. And just you can just see like I think once again, full bit of tangent, but coming back, I think I used to feel very debilitated, like, I want to change the world. And then you kind of go and try and change the world, you just realize how fucked up the world is, and you're like, and then you kind of get depressed and blah, blah. Then I made a very conscious choice that my world is at home, and then I'm slowly going to spread from there. So that means like I'm going to look after myself, like my family, my wider circle, and it kind of just will go from there. And that shifted my thinking, changed everything for me. And I think now just watching my home grow and just doing that, I think that just, yeah, it just feels good, man.
Amen. That's
Yeah.
that to me, that shows a lot of integrity to me. I believe in even in the Bible it says something like get your own house in order first.
Mm,
Another line is like, why judge the chip, in your brother's eye when you have a plank in your own eye? Meaning like,
mm,
like look after your own house first. And I feel like I've seen that with you, man, so beautifully. You really built a beautiful place in Wollongong. So I can't imagine what it would be like now we have a daughter. Like it would just be better and like infinitely better. And then you built a company. And yeah, man, isn't that funny, man? Isn't that funny? We start off wanting to change the world, not just you, me as well, and maybe a lot of people listening as well, like start off wanting to do that. um, but for myself, like my own interpretation of that is like you come to realize how flawed I think it's just insanely mature, and
mm,
it takes a lot of courage and self-honesty to go, fuck, like I have a lot of flaws myself here.
mm.
Let me start there first, you know? So yeah, that is magical, man. Magical.
Yeah, man. And then we'll just go off on some tangents and we'll see where this conversation goes. But like, and I've just kind of part of it is I've got close to some of my heroes, in the past. And man, I just wouldn't trade my life for any of them, like as in when I get cut from I used to put all these different people on a pedestal, got close to them, and I'm like, not everyone's different, but like, they've got average family homes, they're like not they're deeply depressed on the inside. It's all, all fugazi for better words, and they're putting shit out there. And yeah, and they probably nailed one part of their life. And typically the people I was admiring was in the business world or, money and whatever, those kind of things at a certain point in time. But man, like, yeah, like it's not, yeah, just not the whole picture. And I think seeing some of that also it shifted a lot in me. Like, I don't know when it was, a few years back, probably a bit more than that now. But it's just like, I don't think that's what I want, you know? Um, and yes, I think consciously, even for me, I've just been even my circle and who I surround myself around is people that have built more whole lives, if that makes sense. Like it's not just that one side of the coin or that kind of language that we use. Like it's my circle is full of people that, and certain people are more this way, certain people are more this way, but and some that I've got a bit of balance of everything. And I think that's just what I want to be around, and that's the kind of life that I want to build. And I know we only just decided to name this podcast, and I went with a bit of tongue in cheek, but Namaste Rich is what we landed on, and I think that's just, I think the play on words there, but it's like it's living a blessed life, but also, a rich life, and there's a lot of ways that we can play around with those words, but I think that's kind of a perfect name because I think both of us are kind of striving for that, and I'm sure a lot of other people are too. So I think it'll be nice for people to hear these kinds of things, and hopefully a lot of other people will catch on and choose to follow a similar path.
Yeah, amen. It's like wholesome rich,
Yeah.
like wholesome. Yeah. Bless you, Kedge. I'm so happy for you, man. I really am. I'm so happy for you. Wow. Wow. Yeah, you really like um are a gorgeous example of integrity, courage and integrity to me. Because I think the hardest thing is to just have the humility to, especially when you've projected to the world that you are going to take on some really big goals or this or that or whatever. and to eat the humble pie and be like, you know what, man, like I'm just gonna start with what I know is important, which is like looking after my family, and building from there. Like, yeah, I think, I once heard someone say, if you really want to know how much you're gonna grow, it's in direct proportion to how self-honest you are willing to be.
Mm,
And most people are too afraid. Most, yeah, it's varying degrees, but most people are way too afraid to become self-honest.
mm.
Um, wow, wow, man.
Yeah, man, no, definitely not necessarily easy, and there's definitely certain different versions of myself I've projected in the past, and yeah, man, conscious choice, and a lot of that journey's been with you, as you know, and but on the other sides of that, and it's just fruits, it's just fruits on the other side of that, because for me, it's just like now living in alignment with that truth and who I really am, like. Yeah, I think everything else tends to flow in terms of how I want to build my business, the people I want to build them with, how I want to build my family, who I want to build my family with, what kind of friends I want in my life, and how I want to expand on that. Like all of that can only it just stems from or it only once you can be fully true with yourself, because you're just going to attract that based on, who you are. So yeah, man, I think that's yeah, I think
Man,
yeah,
I
that's
feel
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I feel like I have never seen you so well as I'm observing you right now.
Mm,
Because yeah, it's really wonderful to see. You feel very natural to me. Like
mm,
um, you don't feel, yeah, something about it feels very natural, man. You just
mm.
feel like centered in yourself. Can
No.
I ask, unless you were sorry, you're gonna comment on that, man?
I was gonna say, yeah, it might tie into your question. So why don't you ask your question? Because I maybe, yeah, because
My
yeah.
question's a bit different, man. So
Okay. So I'll quickly say it and then go. But I think honestly, it's crazy. I think it's because with work and business, prior to that, I'm the same as you, just running at a million miles an hour and just executing, doing this. So even sometimes when we run into these podcasts, like I'm just like I'm running at a million miles an hour. I'm tired, end of the week, and I'm just coming in and just not as much as I'm present, but it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to just fully decompress when you just, run the week hard. And I think
yeah,
even though I just had a baby last week, like, I've been fully, it's like, I stepped into that presentness, if that makes sense. I've been fully there and I've just been spent hours just staring into her eyes, man. Just like, like, as in, just giving me the
that's what I
space to be.
heard. That's what I heard happens, you know?
Yeah, it's just and when I say I can see it, the past, present, and future, and I'm looking in there, like it's just I don't know. Once again, I'm what people are gonna think I'm a bit of a whacker when I'm
No,
saying
no,
stuff
can
like
can
that.
you can you speak a bit more about that? Because I feel like
Oh,
I understand. I don't want to project what I understand. I'd love to understand what you mean by that. Because it sounds so
oh,
beautiful.
yeah, it's so I don't think I don't think it's very hard to put some of this stuff into words. So it's just it just goes back to once again but some people believe that what's already happened is already going to happen, and that time isn't linear; it's actually circular, and it's already happened, and we're just going through a lived experience. But at the same time, you can still influence the future, and we're really getting a bit weird now, right?
I
But
love
like, yeah, yeah. So and there's like, and I think deep down, to a certain degree, I believe in that. Like, there's something about that that feels true to me, as weird as that's going to sound to a lot of people listening to this.
I want to
And
talk more about that, but after you're done. But yeah, I love
yeah,
it. Go.
so I think because I think with a child or when a baby, there's absolutely zero conditioning. And it's like I haven't done it, but people have done DMT and things like that. They talk about this experience where they kind of explode out of their head and shoot out. And even they can't explain it. It's like they can explain 1% of their journey because they can't come back and express it into
Yeah,
words. But they say a similar thing, and it's like it's like everything's been stripped away, and we live in, what we call Maya, the illusion. And I guess when it's a child, that none of that is there. They just come in and so they are still, for me, it's like everything is still there. And I felt like I could feel that, and that's that's probably how I'd explain it.
wow, man. Can I speak a bit about that? What you
Yeah,
just
of
said?
course, of course, yeah.
Man, I have never heard it expressed like that, but I think that was so gorgeously said. Like, because the veil of our thinking mind, which ultimately is what creates Maya, which creates the Mara or the illusion. That's basically because, so for everyone listening, if you're getting lost in this. For example, if I may demonstrate this a little bit. So in front of me, if you're watching this on the screen, I'm holding a pen, right? And the thing is, when we hold a pen, because of the mental label that we put onto the object, we almost stop seeing it. And let me explain. If you're listening at home or you're watching this, I invite you to like pick up a pen and look at it and realize that this thing in your hand, if an alien was looking at it, it wouldn't know, it doesn't have the context to know it's a pen. So an alien would look at this and be like, "Oh my God, like what is this? Is this a container to store something? Is it a home for ants? Is it a weapon? Is it a like magnifying device? Is it yeah, is it like a little defense mechanism? Like is it does it have some kind of other, is it a play toy for kids, and basically what I'm trying to offer to people li listening at home is like when you strip away the labels of an object and it allows you to like almost see it for the first time. And I'm looking, I'm like, my God, this is actually a very beautiful pen that I've got here. And it's almost like I don't even fucking notice it because like I put a mental label, so therefore I'm not even seeing it anymore. I'm not present anymore. Instead, I'm just in my mind of like going, oh, I'm going to pick up my pen, but therefore I'm relating to my mind. I'm not relating to what's actually in front of me in reality. So hopefully
What's a
that
good on that jumping in, obviously using the pen and conceptually that makes sense. What's a good real life example where that meaning that you attach to something gets in your way? Like, yeah,
incredible question. It manifests in different ways, everyone. So the thing is like it can get in your way. Putting mental labels on things can get in your way in something as simple as just enjoying the present moment. So if you're going for a walk in nature, and if you know, oh, cool, that's this kind of tree, that's this kind of tree. I've been here before. You have this whole story. You stop seeing the forest anymore.
mm,
This is what I suspect a huge reason. Like I think there's multiple reasons why people love traveling. And I think there's a lot that people don't understand about why they actually love traveling, which I can speak
mm,
about. But
mm,
I think a big reason that people love traveling is because there's no story overlaid about that location. So it actually feels like you're experiencing something new for the first time because you are, but a huge part of that is that you haven't got a mental blanket of story of like, oh yeah, I know this window, I know this road, I know this, I know it's all new. So it
mm,
allows you to be present again. And so, but a more impact negatively impactful version of Kedge's question, which is like, what's an example of you putting mental stories on something and how it can affect you? The thing is, if you paint a person as, so for example, let's say you paint a person as this person is a liar, they're a narcissist, they're a bad person, they're blah 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 blah. Even if you've never met them before, someone else told you that they're a terrible person. Then if you meet that person finally and then they say hello and they're really nice to you or whatever, then you might be like, what's this person trying to get out of me? Because you have a
mm,
story already about them. You're not even seeing them anymore. You're seeing your story about them. What do they get trying to get out of me? Conversely, let's say you have someone you really love and it's a really, really good friend of yours and blah, 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 blah. And then you see them and then they're like, hey, I hate you, or like they're really rude to you, or they say something like that. Then usually your mind will go, hey, this is a great person. They must be having a bad day,
mm,
you know? And
mm.
and in either case, you're working with the story in your mind, you're not really working with reality. And where this can really get in people's way is in relationships. When you have a story about either a person or a situation, that can really color your experience and therefore your response to that situation. Um, and a lot of spiritual teachings is about stripping away all the labels and just being present in the moment, because then you can see it more for actuality. Kedge, does that make sense, or were you going to say something on that?
No, no, makes complete sense. And I think that, that's kind of what you alluded to at the start. I know you're giving me a bit of praise, about the self-work and stuff. And I think a lot of that was ultimately trying to slow down to figure, I think, because sometimes when you're just running, you kind of have to put labels, right? Because otherwise you can't make sense of the world. And so it's just like that balance of fast and slow to get things done. And sometimes slowing down makes you go faster. And I think for me, like that, I can vouch for that being the case. Like I had to slow down to figure out what I wanted in life. Because I think if I kept running at that pace, yeah, it's what I thought I wanted. And it's the stories that I told myself, and I'm running towards something, but it's like, yeah, it's like, and I think it took a lot of slowing down to realize what was the path I wanted to go down, and then start recultivating from there.
Yeah, amen. And like on that note, for people listening, like what I have found is that meaning in life, so fulfillment and something that's actually meaningful. And mean, if you think about that word, mean means average, right? It's like that's another word for average. So the meaning of a situation, whether it's your life or the stock market even, right? It's the integration of two sides. It's not just this one side of like, let me run to the next goal, let me run to the next goal, let me run to the next goal. It's important to have a sense of direction and move, because without it, you won't have meaning because you're not moving and you don't have any direction. But if you don't, which is the more masculine side, but the feminine side is the slowing down and looking inward and actually paying attention to what actually you feel a sense of love for or a
Mm.
sense of energy for. And if all you do is the feminine stuff, which is you're just forever looking inwards and you're forever like feeling stuff and whatever, you won't feel fulfilled either, ultimately, because you're not feeling like you're making any kind of progress. So you need both the masculine and feminine sides together, which is a sense of direction, movement, and purpose, intention, boundaries. But basically, a direction implies boundaries, right? Because if you're going in that way, there's certain boundaries that stop you from going other ways. So we need the masculine side, which is the purpose and the direction, but we need the feminine side, which is to slow down enough and frequently enough to connect to what we actually give a fuck about. And then those things together, when you bring them together, it creates the mean or the meaning, the middle path. You can apply this with finances as well, where you have the intrinsic value, not the hype thing on the PE ratio. The PE ratio is a fucking 50, then it's just hyped up. But then obviously when it's really tanked, that's not the true intrinsic value of it either. It's the bringing together of them both. Um, but can we go back a little bit to Kedge's to your daughter and that beautiful piece that you said there,
Mm.
my bro. I know you mentioned you haven't done DMT. I don't know if you know, I did mushrooms like a couple of years back.
Yeah, you shared the experience with me. And I think it was you shared something similar actually. So yeah, that'll be good story to share.
Man, like for anyone listening, like because I think Ked said this really beautifully. Like he goes, people who do this stuff, that when they come back, they really struggle to share what they experience. They can only share like 5% of what they experienced. Here's my uh understanding as to why that happens. So in terms of what I experienced, just for context, in terms of what I experienced doing, and these were like the ultra high grade mushrooms, like some of the best you can get in the world. Had a really good person who facilitated me through this journey. So they kind of hold space, they create the set and setting, they create the intention of the container, they curate the music, and so it's done with a lot of intentionality. It was this mushroom journey, and you're using these ultra high grade, like best in the world that you can get. So in terms of the experience, like it really does feel like your mind is getting pulled away, almost more and more and more until the kind of peak of the experience. And in the beginning, I just remember, or not in the beginning, but towards the beginning, I really just felt like I was really seeing the vibrancy of just light coming through the window, and just actually and with that vibrancy and your ability to be present with that light pouring through the window, there's a different type of intuition or wisdom that comes to you from being present, where you can feel, oh my God, like there's a lot more to like this light coming through my window than just light coming through my window. There's a aliveness. There's it's actually there's some kind of a sense that you're not alone. But there's a sense of like consciousness, even in this light and in the plants and in the music. Like we were listening to this very beautiful music, and it's almost like I could start to visualize the vibrations coming off each chord string, and just this deep sense of aliveness. And towards the end, in the peak of the experience, I had my eyes closed, and I truly felt like I was seeing the true fabric of the universe in front of me. And it was this thing that was just forever unfolding, forever, like, yeah, unfolding would be the word. Similar to how Kedge was saying, time's looping around. If anyone at home like listening to this, you can a lot of the best studies in terms of time and quantum physics, they talk about a torus diagram. It's basically like it's actually the way they design like nuclear chambers and energy fields. It looks like this uh it's like a donut but with it's like if you pictured a donut but with like a relatively small hole in the middle, and basically the energy flows from in the donut to out, and it just loops around. And you can see this architecture in Hindu temples. You can see it in quantum physics. You can see it in how they've designed a lot of energy, because it seems like the most efficient path for energy to move in this very beautiful kind of spiral. And so that's almost kind of how you can feel everything just unfolding around you. And end of the story for me was like my best understanding of this beautiful divine orchestration that it felt like was in front of us is, the truth is, for me anyway, our human mind actually can't really comprehend what God is. And God and the universe is the same thing. The universe is God. Um, so this thing that we look around in space and stuff, that whole thing is God. And our mind can't truly understand what it is. So when you do something like mushrooms, your mind pulls back just a little bit to get a glimpse of this whole thing that we truly can't understand. And the biggest thing I experienced with it was not a thought or a insight as such, as it was a feeling. And that feeling was love. It was this feeling like you are so connected in this, you're completely held in this beautiful orchestration that's forever unfolding, and you're completely safe. And the hands that hold you as you go through this journey, it's beyond something you can think about. It's closer to a feeling, and that feeling is love, as its true nature. And in terms of the time, yeah, I can speak separately. I don't know if I'm rambling or not, but I can speak separately about the time and the concept of time overlapping, and that piece that Kedge said there, because I have, I think, a pretty good theory on that. But that that sense of unadulterated love, which is the truth of not just the universe, but it's a truth that you experience in the present moment. From what I understood, when I hear Kedge talk about being with his baby and just being present, it's like it's not just his baby has stripped away her mind, but Kedge also, or her being that way helps Kedge strip away his mind. And you have this beautiful moment of just being present and letting go of all of this type of intellectualization around it, and you're just experiencing something so pure. So that's my understanding of what you shared, man. Not that it matters, but yeah.
No, not that you're right, not that it matters, but it does help make sense of it. It helps articulate it so for people to understand better for sure. And just on that, I remember something you said to me at the time. I can't remember exactly, but it's like the feeling that you felt, something about I'm coming home or we're coming home or something along those, a phrase that stuck with you after that experience as well. Sorry, yeah.
Um, I think what you're referring to is well, both. There's two things. One of them is we are all walking each other home.
That was the one. Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
that the one?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want me to elaborate
Yeah,
that?
no, man, share. Like, I think that was your, I guess you shared about your experience, emails around it out. And 'cause I remember that was it's something that stuck with you. I remember you saying, so it'd be interesting to explain again what that means.
Thank you for reminding me, man. Like for everyone listening, like let me start it like break it from a very practical sense. Um, in a very practical sense, you've probably heard the saying, friends are in our life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Or people are in our life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Like the more you look back on life and you do the inner work, you truly see how you have some people who come into your life and while they were like challenging to deal with, if you want to put it that way, or toxic or whatever, you come to realize with enough time, usually, unless you've done the inner work, you come to realize that you probably were a certain way, which attracted them to show up a certain way with you. And you probably, when I say you probably were a certain way, you probably had to learn a bunch of lessons that you could say they came into your life to teach you. But let me offer you this, everyone who's listening, like, if you were not such a people pleaser, do you really think you would have resonated that much with a narcissist? Because usually, if you already have strong, healthy boundaries, you're already certain about what you're going to do, you usually don't resonate that much with people who are narcissistically trying to override and overpower you because your boundaries are strong and you're already strong in who you are as a person. It usually takes someone who is not strong in who they are as a person to feel a sense of attraction to someone who is strong to the equal and opposite degree. So if you on one side of the pendulum are very basically weak in your sense of boundaries and your sense of who you are and your values, to complete the power dynamic or the power vacuum, you're gonna basically be attracted to someone who is overpowered in that area, which is what we traditionally would call a narcissist. So I'm simply saying, when I give that example, I'm simply saying that we are uh, we are resonating with whoever helps us find completion in our own self at a higher level. And some of them are like just friends. Some of them are people that we perceive challenge us, but when we look back, we realize like, fuck, they also were angels in our life because they helped us grow in different ways. Our
Mm.
friends helped us grow because they supported us, but other people challenged us. And then you realize, man, everything that kind of happened was happening, for me. Everything that was happening because, I wanted to go a certain way. I had certain loves and goals and directions and values. And so on that journey, these are the skills that I had to learn to help me grow. So that's like the basic level of understanding that we're all walking each other home. But man, for me, from that, I guess that spiritual level of the mushrooms, I just felt that I just felt so much love for the fact that, goodness gracious, like we live in just this unfathomably infinite, expansive universe, which has been unfolding for like 13 billion years or whatever it is. And somehow in all of that, in all of the world, in all of everything, Kedge became one of my friends, like, and isn't that so special? And so any petty, petty differences aside, in this incredible, unfathomable orchestration, these are the beautiful little people that have come into my life for my little life, for my little turn around the sun. And for me, that helps cultivate a tremendous feeling of gratitude for the people that gave me their time at all. It brings me tears to my eyes thinking about it now. But at the end of the day, I get this tiny little bit of time on earth, and it's people like Kedge and Gaia and the people that are listening and whatever that have given me a bit of time to be with me on this journey. And so it's just this profound sense of gratitude for how we're just walking each other back to this place that we came from, which is this infinite unmanifested realm. Does that make any sense, Kedge?
Brilliant. Just man, as you were wrapping that up, man, I was welling up inside as well. So just I don't know, just yeah, it just hit home, man. And it's just I think once again, it's just like I just don't know if I'm just that extra present today, but just like those words meant more. As in not as in probably haven't heard you say it in a while, but it just yeah, as you said it, man, I just felt it, like just fully felt it. And it's just so true, man. And it's yeah, man. Yeah. And yeah, and I see, and this is crazy. You see the world and things are happening, and you get so easy to get caught up in this is not fair. Why is the world like this? And blah 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 and all that. But we forget as in, well, me and you probably don't forget, but like people forget, all the beauty that's in their life and just even being, to be fair, even being born today or 30 years ago, you're probably in the top 0.1% of the world. Imagine being born 100 years ago, no running hot water and all the other things that you would have had to deal with. And we're actually just blessed to be here and forgetting about something as when we were born. Like there's so much to be grateful for. And it's just so easy to forget. And yeah, man, and just yeah, man. Even I know you kind of put me there, but even for me, man, even me coming into my life, man, it's just I don't know. It's just, I was about to make a very big statement, and it may even be true, but it's like it's probably the most single most thing that has changed my life, like um and yeah, it's a very big statement to make, and I don't say it like I held back for a moment to kind of just to make sure that it felt true, but I actually think it is, man, because I think just like. I was thinking about it. Yeah, I think some of the stuff over the last few days as well, and I think some of the stuff we've learned, and obviously naturally, I'm grateful to be your friend because I feel like I get a lot of your wisdom without having to pay for it anymore. But like, but yeah. Anyway, if anyone listening, I've done Dim's course like 5 times, and I've given him a lot of my money. But 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 a lot of it is just in the. I think some of the stuff that gets taught. Think what happens is people get lost in the macro, but for me, the biggest benefit has been in the micro. It's like the teachings, the embodiment of the lessons, and it's in those micro moments where I notice something. I notice this, and I can self-correct in the moment. And that is what, and I don't want to say everyone else forgets, but like, because I don't know what they're doing. But for me, I think I used to think macro and you want to think, but it's like in the moment where your partner's upset you a little bit, or I don't know, your business partner said this, or a client has said that, or something's triggered you a little bit in the moment. And it's just almost like a very quick zzz, correction and then adjust and go. And I think that, that yeah, just putting it out there, and it's just like, yeah, you can kind of ask me questions, but that for me is the most life-changing part. It's just the embodiment of that, and I think when you truly embody it, that's when you can kind of do that little. I don't know if that's the right way to say right way that little correction and move forward, because otherwise those things can derail you for days, weeks, months, and then you kind of come back because you then need to get the reminder again. But I think having had that reminder enough and embodied it, I feel like it happens a lot faster now.
Amen, man. I think you said a few really wonderful things there. Let me just really quickly say that, I know Ken just said something. Yeah, yeah, thank you, man. Of course, man. But I almost feel like I I feel like I'd be incorrect in saying thank you because I feel we really are walking each other home, man. So
Yeah,
whatever blessings or benefit you feel from me, I'm getting the same
yeah,
from you,
no,
man. I
yeah,
truly, I really am. So, so like, yeah, hey, it's like I didn't do you a favor. I'm winning as well. Like, yeah, we're both winning, which is a gorgeous thing, man. So yeah, no, thank you, man. Of course, bro. Like you've been such a man, especially the most important part of my coaching journey, which would have been the first like 5 years, say, you supplied like what minimum 30% of all customers, from your referrals. And there was yeah, and without customers there is no business, and without business there is no dim, there's no opportunity for me to get better as a coach. Um so I don't feel like I should say thank you for you saying nice things when I yeah, it wasn't I wasn't being generous. Like, I didn't meet, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, thank you as well, bro, you know?
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. But on what Kedge is saying, everyone, about the corrections, like two things, like I would just quickly say, um, most of all, I just really want to say again, thank you to you, Kedge, because I love you, man. And yeah, I don't I we have another 80 years left, and there's so much wisdom I get from just being around you, man, and just seeing you light the path ahead in terms of like, finding your actual soulmate and having a kid and building a family. Like, even though I mentored you, I guess you could say, bro, you're lighting the way for me. You really, really are. You really are, man. So yeah, I can't quantify what thanks, man. Yeah. I can't put in words what that means to me, man.
No, I appreciate that, man. But yeah, we can keep going back and forth and praising each other. So I'll just stop for this moment. But like, no, I love you too, bro. And like, it really goes both ways, man. And just yeah, let's just put a pin in that because we both know we both know that.
Keep going.
But
Keep going.
but I'd
Bro,
actually love to hear because I'd love to hear, and I don't want to say 50-50, but just having seen some of the people that have gone through your thing and I'm gonna say 98%, I don't know, like they get
yeah.
such a great experience walking out of your 6 weeks, 12 weeks, what is it, whatever your program has become now.
Mm.
Um, they walk away, but then I'm curious. I don't. It's not like I'm not tracking everyone, but I'd be curious to know where they are 12 months, 24 months later, because it's not just you. Like anything that I've seen, I think is like in the moment. Once again, you're present, right? On your retreats, you really encourage being fully present. Any calls that you're doing, so it really enables people. I guess what I referred to before as slowing down, figuring it out, and then go on the path. But a year later, 18 months later, what do you what's somewhat tracking where people go? How do you then see them go out into the real world and then implement? And I guess for me, I'm kind of sharing what, after doing what I've done and how I have and where that's kind of led me to now. But I'm curious to kind of hear like what you think.
It's so well said, my bro. And I'm just gonna keep it real because I respect whoever's listening to this. Like, I respect you people. I respect you guys enough to just keep it real with you, you know? Like, the truth is, in my experience, like, and by the way, I do keep track of everyone. In fact, this very week, I literally messaged every last one of the people in the alumni just to
Mm,
see how they are because I fucking love them. That's why.
mm.
And I fucking love them. I fucking love them. That's why. So I fucking, yeah. So, bro, um, look, man, of everyone who replied back, which I think was everyone, I think at this point now, um, all messages of love. That's for sure. That's for sure. Um, really sweet messages too. But I think the more useful point for me to say is it's almost two things. The teacher and the taught together create the teaching. So the magic being the teaching is created by the synergy of two people coming together. So you have Michael Jordan, who's fucking cool, but would he have become Michael Jordan without Phil Jackson, his coach? And would Phil Jackson really would have been Phil Jackson without Michael Jordan? And the triumphant run of the Chicago Bulls, it needed both Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. So the magic is created by the synergy of the two, the integration of the two. So it is good for marketing or whatever for me to just come across as um doesn't matter who you are. I can fucking, make you a superstar. But the truth is, like, you gotta, and hopefully this is super reasonable. You've got to want to be a superstar. You gotta want it. And I find that the best way to break that down is like people already have their highest values, their genuine, actual, natural highest values, and people have their and the question is growth genuinely on their highest values? Is wealth genuinely on their highest values? Is contribution genuinely on their highest values? Because as a coach, see, a mentor is someone that is trying to make you be like them, but a coach is their job is to help you just achieve your goals, whatever they are. And I believe more in coaching because it's like I don't want to project onto someone who they should be because it's not sustainable, because it's not authentic. Your authentic self is infinitely better than any projection of what you should be instead. And it's because it's more sustainable to be your authentic self. And ultimately, whatever you do consistently is what you're going to rack up the hours in and the skills in. So it's better to just be fucking real and your authentic self. So I don't know if I'm answering. I don't know if I misinterpreted the question, Kedge, but it's like for me, the boys that had more of high values in terms of family and not so much maybe growth or wealth, those guys are happy and fulfilled in their family life, with the tools that they were given. Even if I also gave them wealth tools and stuff, they probably didn't apply it as much as someone who genuinely, like you, for
Mm,
example, you genuinely have a high value on wealth, on contribution,
mm,
on growth, and on family. You genuinely have those. And so, therefore, in your case, it's such a gorgeous synergy because then you can take everything I'm giving you and apply them in the areas that you were naturally already moving in. You know?
mm,
And so, for example, I'll just quickly say, like, I got this young dude who just came. I think he's 25, right? It's interesting. Like, I have some 25-year-old who already have a business and they're doing really well. And then you have some 25-year-olds who are like juvenilely dependent
mm.
because they've had helicopter parents their whole life. But you can tell with this dude, he fucking loves sales. He's a great dude and he's really good at sales. And so he was saying he was suicidal when he came to me, right? Um, and he will probably look back, God bless, and really be like, wow, Dim really changed his life, and Dim really stepped in as this mentor that course corrected him. But I would say with or without me, like if his demons, like look, either his demons was going to get the better of him, right? Um, or he would like limp on and he would still do sales and wealth. Obviously him investing in personal development at fucking 25, he's we kind of know which option is going to end up happening. Now
Mm.
he's not going to get his demons. He's going to do really well and he's going to fucking crush it. But basically it's amplifying the direction that you're already on in terms of your values, unless your demons get the better of you, is my answer. Does that, I don't know if that was what you were asking, Ketch, or
Yeah, no, no, ultimately it was, and it's like it made me reflect on a few things as you were talking as well, like in even my own leadership styles in the past and how certain people like they literally look at put me on a pedestal and they're like they thank me for everything that's ever happened, but at the same time being that same way, which is something I think I probably almost cause more mental health problems than some other people, because that my style aligned with these people and it activated a part that they already had, but these people's values were different. So me being that way, that whatever hustle mentality and put whatever, like that would have then pushed them further. And it was just making me reflect on that as you were
amen.
talking.
Yeah, amen. And for everyone like listening at home, it's just like that it takes a moment to figure out, the first principle in my coaching programs, no matter which one you do, is know yourself. Because we want to help people accelerate that. But really it takes a minute to help you know for your own self who you want to be, as opposed to who you think you should be to
Mm.
impress this person, that person, fit in this whatever.
Mm.
But and yeah, the thing is, there's nothing but compassion. It's just like, obviously, especially when people are starting in organizations, they haven't really figured out that question yet. And so, they'll see their boss and they'll see someone like Kedge who's high flying and doing well, and they may just want to be like that, you know? Um, I feel
Yeah.
like there was some, yeah, go on, Kedge. I feel like there was something else we were going to talk about, but I think I've missed it somehow.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what it is, but that's all right. If it comes back this week or next week, we'll come back to it. Um, but no, the reason I was asking that this morning, because I've actually signed up to a course that I'm doing with Tom Bilyeu, right? It's actually called Zero to Founder. Like, even though I'm not in that phase, but I felt like I would still get a lot out of it, so I was doing it. And then so this morning, I was like, Tom went live and with people's questions of where they are in their journey, and like. Man, it was just interesting. He kept it so real. Like I loved it because he was just like he told people like I'm gonna give it to you straight. Like because and it could sound like he's being mean, but he was just like but you could just see like half these guys in the room, and he was just saying like he's like they just don't they just not they just can't do the work. You know, they can't they just he's pretty much given it the course is actually an incredible course and it's on a platter. Literally follow these steps and do it this way. And it's just like they're coming and then haven't done the work and they're just kind of just like, oh yeah, but what hey Tom, like this is what's happening, blah blah blah, this and this. And he's like, mate, like I can tell you honestly, like I whatever, this person was meant to have done like 30 posts in 30 days. They had done one and they overanalyzed that funnel and they're like, I did this post, it got 17 likes, it got this, one, this. And he's like, come back to me when you've done 30 posts, you know, and then went to the next person, you know? And it's just like people, it's just like it's just something that I observed this morning. And as I was obviously, you know, a different kind of coaching. So I was just kind of just it was on my mind and that's what triggered me to ask that question, you know?
No, I'm a fan, man. Like, oh yeah, optimal growth happens at the border of support and challenge.
Yeah.
But man, some people just need a fucking reality check, you know? And you know what, man? Sometimes you look back and really appreciate the person that gave you the reality check.
Yeah, man. And I was like, I was a bit taken aback, but he's like, man, half you in this room are not going to make it. He just said it like half you, you're just not going to make it because you're going to come up with unless you really check yourselves, you're going to come up with the same reasons that brought you to this session and you bought it from pain. You want to do something and you bought the course because you're in a painful place and you came here. Like, unless you kind of, attack that and take this on and take all the mindset stuff that we've taught you and then the actionable steps and actually do it, you're going to come up with the bullshit stories that led you to this place in the first place and you're not going to get it done. And half the questions
Fucking
that
hell,
time,
that's so
yeah,
well said. Wow.
yeah. And I was just like, man, it needed to be said. And like the overwhelming response was everyone was, yeah, clapping and cheering and like, blah, blah, blah. But then there was some people in the comments, oh, blah, 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 whatever, right? But like, yeah, I know, I just love that. It was just the truth, you know? And I think it just needed to be said. And it was like, I don't, yeah, he talked about it as well. And like these days, how, yeah, ultimately we live in a very entitled culture and this and that. And once again, we can probably elaborate on that another time. But like, yeah, and it's just, there was one, I wish I could remember it, but yeah, he just articulated it so well. Just something along the line of like, because this one person was like planning to execute something. And he's just like, man, in the end of the day, if you don't want it as bad as you want to breathe, like someone else has got the same product out there, there's going to be 100 other motherfuckers. Yeah, that's the exact word that he used. 100 other motherfuckers that got the same product out there, and they're willing to die for it. You know, so even if they do it sloppy and they get started and they do that, they're willing to die for it because that's how much it matters to them. So if you're not willing to die for it, or you don't have to die, you know what I mean? But if you're not willing and you don't want it that bad, and you don't feel that thing to it, you're gonna get outworked, you're gonna get beaten anyway. And the reason you're over planning is because you don't want it bad enough. You know, you're just sitting there, you're just getting in your own way, you're doing this dip, and you just don't want it enough. So go figure out if this is actually what you really want. You know,
God
so
bless him, man. That's genuinely really good. That's really good guidance, man, because
yeah,
yes, of course it doesn't sound nice in the moment, but he cares enough to try and save these people the time.
yeah,
What that is. Man.
yeah,
Oh, I don't know if you can hear it. There's a huge thunderstorm over here where I am. I don't know if it's coming through.
yeah.
But man, no, this gorgeous. And no, I hope for everyone listening at home, this gorgeous conversation took many twists and turns. We started off with babies, and then we spoke about the secrets of the universe. Oh man, well, man, bro, I'm really happy about that you're doing that course. Um, Bro, and he is right. It's just like. One really nice idea that I'd like to pass on, not so much to you, but people listening, Kedge, like, um, one thing Alex Hormozy said that I thought was such a lovely mindset. He goes, think in terms of hundreds of hours, you know? So before you start bitching about your videos being shit, how many hundreds of hours
mm,
have you put into it?
mm.
Before you start thinking that you suck at understanding wealth, how many hundreds of hours? And it's like most people have put in like fucking 20 minutes and then yeah. I think, man, like on what you're saying before, like a lesson that some gorgeous people just do not understand is like if you really want something, you find a way.
Mm.
And if you don't really want it, you find an excuse, you know? And so I think, and I think for anyone listening, if you're interested in making more high value connections and high value uh like friendships like with people who are like presumably you want to there are people out there who want to network and have good friends with people who are doing really well. If you want to network with high value people, understand these high value nuances. For example, about just being honest about what you want, not talking like being honest with yourself in terms of knowing if you really want something or not. Removing clutter out of your life so you're not doing things that you don't actually want. Because it can show in your conversation. People can tell, for example, in that example of that guy planning for so much you can the nuanced people can tell this guy's not actually serious. He's looking to find an excuse. Yeah, the truth is when you really want something, it doesn't matter if you bootstrapped it, you do it imperfectly, you'll just do it. That's the truth. So anyway, I'll leave it there. But Ketch, anything else you want to say, man?
Nah, man, this it was a power pack session, man. I loved it. It was. I think might have been our best one yet. But Yeah, man, I just want to keep just like I want to keep spreading this, man. It's just like just this balance between love and connection and just going and getting it, just like I just think it can be done. And honestly, like I just don't come across many people in my life. Like I think you always say it, you've got the soulless entrepreneur and you've got, I don't know what the alternative is, the hippie in the trees, whatever. Like I see the extremes all the time, or they're not far from the extreme, but there is only there's not that many people I can count, probably not even on my own hand, right? And I'm sure they exist, but just, that really have, yeah, just like truly living in that harmony of both. Um, yeah, not to say that, I don't want to come across like I feel like I sound like a sitcom when I'm saying that. Not that I'm perfect either. Yeah, just I guess for me, I just want, even for myself and for others, just to kind of see that light. Um, And yeah, I just want to keep spreading the good word, man. That's not to sound like a preacher, but
Not at
that's just
all.
yeah,
And just for everyone listening, in terms of like why you might actually, because a lot of people they might even recognize themselves as, oh, I'm more of a money and cigars, soulless entrepreneur archetype, if you want to
mm,
call it that, or I'm more of a spiritual hippie yoga archetype.
mm,
Um, if you recognize yourself as that, the truth is, there's nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong here, in my opinion. But they all have their own benefits. It's just about appreciating the benefits and drawbacks of whichever approach you choose and figuring out, in my view, what's the right approach for you at this time. Usually, the drawback of being money and cigars entrepreneur is you can get to a point where you feel very, very unfulfilled. And usually, furthermore, maybe you feel like you're fulfilled enough and that shit doesn't matter, which I respect. That's fine as well. I'm not here to try and make you feel bad or make you feel wrong. What I would just say is usually when we're over indexed on the masculine side, the feminine side will come and fucking slap us. Conversely, if we're over indexed on the feminine side, which is where we're just doing yoga and spirituality, and we're not paying attention to the bottom line, then the masculine side is what's going to come and bite us. So usually, something I joke around and say is like, yeah, everyone is spiritual until it's time to pay the bill.
mm,
It's just like you see a lot of I live in Ubud in Bali, so there's a lot of spiritual people here. But then so many of them are so attached to being spiritual that they fucking struggle with money,
mm,
you know? And that's not really spiritual in my view. Spirituality is integration. Conversely, if you more identify as a money and cigars soulless entrepreneur. And I've been both. I've been both sides of this. Even if you don't care about fulfillment, you'll also find sometimes it's your relationships, which is the for more feminine side that suffers. Your relationships suffer, or your health, your physical body suffers. And those are the feminine aspects. And you'll find on either of those extremes, life seems to be more volatile and you struggle to be consistent. And so when Kedge is talking about this integrated approach, which, I have found myself espousing as well, it's just because I was on both of those extremes and I felt the fucking drawbacks of both and the volatility of both. And actually, there's this beautiful wisdom um to consistency, and when you're more integrated, I do think it allows you to be a lot more consistent. It doesn't allow you to be as loud usually, but which is a drawback, I guess you could say, but it allows you to be more consistent. It's probably better for your health, and you typically end up compounding as a result of that. But they are personal choices. I don't judge it. That's just my
Hmm.
little commentary on that.
Yeah, but nah, I think once again, I think I feel the same way, and I think, and I hope I didn't come across as judgy when I was saying it, but it's yeah, because yeah, and once again, because
Most
I do
people don't
find
even
it
understand. I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't think you came across as judgy because I don't think most people even understand these fucking distinctions.
right, yeah.
You know.
No, I think similar to you, I think I've been on either one of these extremes before. So for me, I felt the pain of being on either one of these extremes, and that's why I feel so passionate about talking about this place because, yeah, both those other places, there's pain there. Well, for me anyway. Um, Yeah, man. And that's it, man. And that's kind of why I feel so like I guess that's why I feel strong. I guess strong about it. And I think ultimately going back to before, and those are the kinds of people that I guess I want to take on the journey with us, as we kind of do this more and more, and the people that I want in my life in general, whether that's through this or anyone. Um, and once again, we'll wrap it up. But with everything, there's nuance, and there's going to be times where you need to step more into one and the other. As we all know. But the closer to the center, I think, is um is the dream. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. It's been quite an episode. Dim and Kedge, volume 5, I believe. Episode 5
Well,
of Namaste Rich Bitches. Right. All
that's
right.
good. Yeah,
Any
man.
final words from you, Kedge?
Nah, it's good. I think for me anyway, like as in, I feel like today I hit my stride, so I'm kind of excited to see where this is gonna go because I feel like the first four was more we kind of just did it to just kind of just see how it feels. We just kind of we're not no planning, we're just turning the camera on and just talking, and we're just kind of feeling each other out. And I don't know, some for me anyway, today something clicked, and I can see why this is going to become important and powerful. So I'm feeling all in on this, man. So
Fuck yeah. I feel it from you, man, sincerely.
yeah, yeah.
Um, all right. We're going to stop the recording here, but love you all, everyone, and we will see you next week.